Okay, the screen is not working, so you're gonna have to follow along on your individual computers. All right? I want to begin tonight by welcoming our new member, PJ Carter from Pittsburgh. And PJ, you have big shoes to fill.
Very.
Mr. Campbell told me that last night.
I said that to Mr. Campbell on Monday in Pittsburgh.
All right, first order of business, guests or visitors? None? No public comment? Approval of minutes? We have the minutes of January 14th.
Mr. Chair, I move that the board approve the meetings from, minutes from the meeting of January 14th.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Any comments? Seeing none? Do you want to call the vote, Julie? You already did.
As soon as I can get in it,
Are you a yay or a nay or an abstain?
I ain't telling you. Yay. Yeah.
Problematic tonight.
Oh,
Settle down.
Okay,
yeah.
superintendent's update. Mr. Brown.
Wind
All right, so it's actually a pretty short update. Obviously, we're just here a couple weeks ago, so not a lot has changed. A lot of them are updates from things we talked about at the last meeting. One thing that happened just last week, a couple days ago, annually there's a visit, we get a visit from the regional director for the Marine Corps JROTC programs, Major Martin. Very nice gentleman, knows our program very well. I realized after the fact that Diana had also put it into her report. But so part of it is Major Martin meets with Diana and I just to talk about the program and his opinion and everything else. And he let us know in advance that our program is going to be getting 100, a score of 100. And he wanted to do that because he wanted to make sure that we understood that this is a big deal. That he said it is not a frivolous thing that we just throw out 100s. He says he does this rarely. I won't read you. So what I gave you on the left side there were actually what Major Martin sent to Diane and I. But I'll just the last paragraph by itself. Most importantly, the program has executed the Marine Corps JROTC mission statement exactly as intended, day in and day out. This is not just one of the strongest programs in the region, but one of the best MC JROTC programs I've observed. So I don't think that surprises anybody. But obviously, if you run into either First Sergeant Dillon or First Sergeant Mickelson, two fantastic people, just we're blessed to have this program. I think you guys all know that. So I wanted to make sure that you got that information. Next update, I had totally realized all of a sudden that I skipped October and December for our update for co-op. So we did dip a little there in October in terms of our record-setting pace. But no surprise, all the work that Kim and our vocational instructors and our students are doing, working with our industry partners, we're once again on another pace to be setting another record for the third year in a row, with 176 co-op through December. And obviously, at the end of this month, we'll give you the next update. But again, Kim Curry just doing an amazing job on co-op. Can't say enough about what she does. Next couple items, lumping a few together. MVP, one of the things that you knew that we talked about is the Skills Capital Grant that we earned back in the fall. What that has now allowed us to do is to start putting the program together physically. What's really exciting is the carpentry and electrical kids that are in the MVP program are going to be the ones who build the plumbing booths and everything else. So it's a very early picture. Obviously, they had just gotten the plywood up. They haven't started doing the frames for the booths or anything
meeting, we had simple discussion about this. Were you able to work in the financials this meeting on the MVP program? Remember we talked about briefly about doing financials so we can see how the MVP is doing financially separate from the school?
So we presented that last week, or at the last meeting.
Yeah, we talked about it last meeting.
Yeah, but we also gave you the financials at the time then, too.
Oh.
Unless I
Were you at the last meeting?
I think so. Well,
January
physically
14th.
maybe, not mentally. I've got.
Well, we all have our moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can forward it to you if you don't have it. Everyone else has it, right?
Yeah.
We did.
All right, so that's MVP. Update top right corner. When we heard last month, I let you know about how we had to do a few corrections to the emissions policy in terms of identifying when we were going to publish the applications, how would they do with appeal if they had a situation with the attendance, if they want to try to appeal that. We did those corrections. Thank you again to Diane and the policy subcommittee. I submitted that soon after our meeting back in January, and as you can see, it was approved. So we're all set. We're back up, and that's the email that I got back from the folks at DESI. So we are good. No further action is needed. So we are going forward on emissions. We also talked a little bit about the quirky schedule next year and the issues that we would have to start the schedule. We had proposed with the teachers of starting a week earlier than they typically do with the two teacher days alone. They get a 3-day weekend, and then we start with students and teachers. They had put out a survey to their staff, and they basically came to the conclusion that their staff supported that idea. So we are going to be doing that. It's a small picture now, I guess, on the screen. But that 26th will be the first day back for teachers, 26th, 27th again. For instructional staff, Friday will be off, and then we start with everybody the following week. So we should be good to go. That will line up better with our pay schedule. We won't have to worry about missing specific or extra time on that. So we're good to go. We may have to technically put in a little bit of temporary language when we meet with the union, because this is technically against the contract. The contract says that it has to be the week before Labor Day.
That's just a memorandum of agreement, right?
Correct. Be something very side letter. Yep. Tammy, did we fix it, or did we do it again next year again?
We're doing 27 pays next year as well, this coming school year, so that will fix it.
All right, then the next item you have there, we've been talking about the athletic field bleachers. So this is the most recent rendering that we have in full color. Just in case you're wondering, because Mike actually had to point this out to them. The MT is upside down because the bleachers are there on the other side, so that's why the MT is upside down. It's not a mistake. As you can see, it's going to be a multi-purpose field. It will have the lines for lacrosse, for soccer, for football, everything else. The track, we did have them add, which I was taught, are the emerging lanes will be in purple. The rest of the track will be colored black. Then all of the jump pits, the pole vault, everything else, that'll all be there. So we're looking really good. The disappointing thing was this past week we were supposed to have the Conservation Commission meeting. The external engineering consultant that Westminster has, the folks who asked us to do the pond for the parking that we couldn't do because of that. They reported just before the meeting that they hadn't reviewed our materials. They weren't ready for us, so we got pushed back to this month now. That being said, we already had a calendar scheduled to post for bid. We have posted that. It is up for bid now. It does have language that talks about an addendum if for some reason something happens at the Conservation Commission, so we can make an adjustment to that if needed. But it's closed February 24th, and there's a joint capital and finance committee meeting on the 25th. Hopefully we'll be coming back here for the March meeting for take a look at that. Yes, sir.
You know what's in the request for bid, anything put in there about certifying the
we do have an official appraisal that we're told is spot on, but we'll have to see what happens, so.
Can you share that with us too?
Yeah.
Appraisal?
Sure. Yeah.
There was a property that sold up the street at about 30,000 to 40,000 more per acre. Larger property at the industrial park. 2 years ago, maybe.
Maybe, because you remember that the city, I think, only had an appraisal of 230,000, remember?
But don't let them see this one, they'll raise our taxes.
Yeah.
That's what governments do.
Somebody else has that. So, but that's great, you know, we'll see what happens, and that's all I got.
Do we, from, any potential, what do we use?
So we talked about that a little bit, because, you know, Tammy and I were saying, you know, that's a nice appraisal, but, I don't think there's, the idea of doing a parking lot, which is what they were talking about, I think that would be very appropriate.
Yeah, don't interfere with the easements.
Correct, there is the easement about the power lines and everything else. So, not quite sure what we would put there, but.
But it goes back to the whole thing where certainly the land itself, we can't really put a building because of the high tension lines. But there's nothing that prevents us from using that for parking, where then we can use part of the parking lot for another structure if we needed to. That's why I am very opposed to even pursuing any of that, because you can park under there, and then that wouldn't affect the easement because they just drive through the parking lot to get up through the power lines. But then it gives us room to use the land that we do have that is parking for another building when we were talking about the health facility. That's why I really think we should be very careful, because land's a premium here, and once it's gone, it's gone. Nothing else we can do. That's my biggest concern.
Mr. Hurley?
You can build on the power lines. I don't know if any of you have been up at Playground, there's a place called Shea Street. And if you drive the length of Shea Street, every third house has one of those oil rigs right in their front yard.
Really? I didn't know that. I thought you couldn't. My mistake.
So you can
Well,
sell
I
it.
think that,
So it's
I wouldn't want to, but I get it.
what we have to decide is, what is that worth to us? Regardless of the appraisal, what can we do with that parcel? Is it worth, you know, what's it worth to us?
Why?
And,
We're bursting at the seams now.
Capital's gonna have to answer that question.
Yeah.
And, you know, we could, if it helps, you know, we could talk to adjusters, have somebody else, maybe come to capital, have a little conversation about that.
That'll be easier.
All right,
All right, that's what I got.
that's what you got, Bill.
Sorry, Diana, they stole from me.
I know, way to go, Tom.
Mr. Chairman?
Okay, do we have the student representative? I'm sorry?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I move that the district committee votes to approve an out-of-state field trip for 20 veterinary science freshmen to travel to Brooklyn, Connecticut, for the AKC Dog Show, exposure to purebred dog event on June 12, 2026, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at no cost.
Okay, down here. All right, I skipped that, all right. You have a motion and a second to go to the dog show? And, all right, any discussion? Need none, you want to put it to a vote? Okay, motion passed.
Move that the district committee votes to approve an out-of-state field trip for 92 house carpentry, cabinet making, and CAD drafting students to the JLC Live Trade Show on March 27, 2026 in Providence, Rhode Island, from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. at no cost to the students.
Discussion? Seeing none, can we call the vote? carries. Okay, we'll go to the student representatives report. And you are,
My name's Natalie. I'm a senior in Med Science here.
okay,
Let's just start with athletics. Winter sports are nearing their end, and spring sport conditioning is coming up with softball and such. As far as Skills USA, we have a lot going on there right now. This week is Skills USA week, so students and staff are encouraged to promote career and technical education all week through various theme days. And then Skills USA is continuing to work on playing their annual dodge tournament. There are also district qualifiers for Skills USA are working hard preparing for their district competitions. We'll be studying for a couple different tests, including like OSHA, Skills USA general knowledge, and whatever their competition is to take a test to qualify for that. And they're doing study sessions after and during school. As for student council, they're working with the craft club to sponsor a Valentine's crafting party next Thursday, and it's a free event to staff and students. As for National Honor Society, they're selling daffodils starting for $10 a bunch, which include 10 cut flowers. All profits go to the American Cancer Society. They have a goal of selling at least 2 bunches per student, and the daffodil sales will end on February 23rd and will end on March 23rd. And for our RTC, Mr. Brown already mentioned about the recognizing as one of the top programs. I know from the inside, I talked to a couple other students, and they said that he had told them they're very impressed with their presentation and their accomplishments, which is great for them. RTC has a lot going on too. On Sunday, they have their Super Bowl brunch with Fitchburg Rotary Club on Sunday, so cadets will be helping setting up and serving brunch for that. And then their cybersecurity team did unfortunately lose their semifinals, but they're continuing to meet and grow their skills. That is a student-led club, so we do have a student that is a senior who actually teaches all of our other students, which is awesome too. And then for the color garden drill, Raiders, they're just getting back into their training, and marksmanship is competing in a 5-week competition. Now, as for other clubs, we have the Writers Alliance Club is hosting a painters night on February 11th, and this is sponsored by NHS, so that's one of their community service projects. And the theme is Garden Gallery, and all are welcome for that. And as for Guitar Club, they just met in Mr. McClendon's room from 3 to 4 on Mondays. So they just work together and continue their skills. And for miscellaneous, I have our casting crew are rehearsing for the annual spring music, which is We Will Rock You. And it's going to be performed April 10th through the 12th. And then Montachusett is hosting a talent show on March 5th. And people are registering now. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you.
anyone have any questions, Natalie? Thank you for coming and sharing the information.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie, nice job. All right, I feel like I shouldn't be the last one, everyone takes my thunder away. I have nothing to say, have a great night. No, the one thing on my report that I do want to point out, we just completed our access testing, and I know this is something we present every year, but as you know, this is a testing that we do for our English language learners. Taryn DeVito, who is our testing coordinator, along with Christy Favreau, and also our ESL teachers are the ones that proctor the exam, is really testing the students in the 4 language domains, so their reading, writing, listening, and speaking skills, and really that gives us data to see student growth and also see areas in which we want to make sure that we are supporting the students so they continue to grow and improve. The one thing that I want to highlight on this year we tested a total of 22 students. I believe last year we had 12 or 13 students. You'll notice the growth, obviously, of English language learners, which has been really fantastic. And again, we continue to push forward, and as you know, as we plan even for PD and stuff, we want to ensure that we are meeting the needs, assisting teachers with instructional strategies to support the English language learners in their program. ROTC, again, Tom said, Natalie talked about it, we can't say enough about the feedback. Major Martin was just so incredibly impressed with our school. I think when, the fact that ROTC is so embedded in our school community and just what it means to our school, what it's added to our school, and how the students represent themselves, the program in our school. So kudos again to that. Upcoming events, see it on there. We just had a group of students go to the Montachusett Community
huge.
College, bless you, that I wanted to point out too. They do direct admission there when you go, and they accept the students right on the spot. And it's always nice to get the students on campus too, as some of our students will go on and continue and take some classes, whether part-time, full-time, or really to explore and look at options of what they have, and especially places where they can be extremely successful, easy transition, right in our backyard. So that is it for my report. The calendar, I know Tom talked about the calendar, I don't know if that's the next, the school calendar? Is that the next,
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so one, I know Tom already sort of went over the start date for the teachers, right? So teachers would come in on that Wednesday and Thursday, have the Friday off, and then students start on Monday, so we have a full week with the students all being here. The only difference when you look at the actual schedule, the only thing, obviously we're asking for your approval today with the current schedule, the draft that's presented to you. We did, as Tom stated, meet with Union really to go over. We had put the vote out for which calendar and choices and whatnot, working with Tammy to ensure that the different pay periods and everything, how it would align with our calendar. The only thing that we are still just sort of speaking with our staff is every year we have parent-teacher conferences. It's the week before Thanksgiving week. We do it on a Tuesday and a Thursday. We have a session that's from 12 to 1:30. Teachers go home, they come back 4:30 to 7:30. As you can imagine, our evening session is the one that's packed. Academic teachers get way more appointments than our vocational, and we look at the students and teacher ratio. Teachers that have a single period have more students than the ones that have the double periods, so it varies. One of the things that teachers continue to say is, could we do it a different way? Could we do just a morning and one evening? Well, if we do that, I feel like we're also denying access and availability for evening, which is most of the time where parents are available, easier for them to come to school to meet with those teachers, and we certainly don't want to turn people away. As you know, we have 1,400 students. We can't accommodate every single conference. We use our Power School portal. My message has been, please, please, please look at the portal, actually let your kids take the lead and look at the portal. They can show you, but for parents to log in, you can check that, but certainly to come in and meet with our teachers, especially if there are any concerns. So one of the things we talked about is, I said, hey, every year after we do the conferences, there's always a conversation, oh, we could do it this way. So we said, all right, how do you want to do it? So I asked for feedback. We had some great presentations. Some people feel very strongly that, well, we already have that short week there on Thanksgiving. Why not do it that Monday and Tuesday and do half days that entire week? Some people feel like that's crazy. That's already a week, with 2.5 days, 2 and 1/2 day. I worry that we're taking away a lot of instruction that week if we go to 3 half days. If it's the week before, we're disrupting another week. So that is going out for full faculty vote. Again, it's not going to impact which days we're in school, which days we're not. It may just flip 2 days with 2 other days that there's going to be a half day in order to ensure that we are hosting our parent-teacher conferences appropriately. So, do you like the schedule? Yes.
Because of the August again, you're doing a memorandum of agreement.
Yes.
Is that for this schedule we're looking at?
Yeah.
Would that also work for do we have the same problem in the 27 schedule when that comes around?
We're gonna change the number of pay weeks.
Okay. So that'll be different, okay. All right, I'm fine, thank you.
Mrs. Carlson,
Yes,
how many snow days have we had this year?
3 so far.
3.
Tom's flipping.
I'm becoming a wimp as I get older.
Hey,
And
I put
just
it,
as a note, my kid's current district, they do 2 half days that week of Thanksgiving for conferences. I think the consensus is parents already are doing something alternatively
Sure.
in that week. So adding the additional 2 half days isn't much extra.
Absolutely.
Just as
No, and that's great feedback. One of the things when I first started when first we asked for feedback, hey, what are your thoughts? Email them to me. And some people are very vocal, and some folks talked about the fact that we don't offer conferences second semester, right? So everybody comes, in November, and then for students, for example, like freshmen were just placed into shop. So if you wanted to come, which we encourage parents to come tomorrow during career awareness, have a conversation about your individual student, right? There are people around, you don't have private space, and they're just getting to know the kids. So one of the concerns with that, and second semester courses, you don't get to meet with those instructors. The problem is, how do we facilitate the fact, like, hey, I came in November for my conference with every academic teacher, I want to make sure I put faces, names, and now here I want another appointment here, but we have 1,400 parents on the door saying, hey, Diana Carlson took all the spots, how dare she, you know. So there's that too, and you know, when we started looking at the different schedules, we kind of went through a list of like pros and cons, and then I said, how dare I do that? Because something that is a positive for you, someone's like, a hard no, absolutely not. So we're putting the survey. One of the things that I think we continue to hear loud and clear, and we should, we never want to make decisions in a bubble, right? We want feedback from people. At no time are we going to make everybody happy and accommodate everybody. We're going to come up with something that works best for most or most popular. If we shift to that week and we do it next year and we realize, geez, that was really just too hectic of a week, or we didn't get, then we shift the following year. So we're not, you know, nothing is set in stone. We can't knock it until we try it. We need to, you know, that's something too with the schedule, something we talk about periods. You know, the teachers that have period 1 at the beginning of the day, the kids that are often tardy, the teachers that have 9th period, the kids with athletic dismissals and whatnot, they're always pulling. You know, we've talked about flipping schedules every time we've had a schedule committee. I know for the time I've been here, we can't come up with anything because we're so ingrained in how we do it. And you know, this year I said, you know what, we're gonna flip 2 weeks worth and just say, how did it go? Good, bad, and different, but at least we know. We'll never try that again, or hey, that was actually pretty cool, it worked for these reasons. So we need to be open and continue to move forward. Yes?
When you were just talking about the survey, I thought I just heard you talking about surveying the faculty about the conferences.
Yes.
Are you also surveying the community?
I can.
To see like what, if the conferences, of course, are for the teachers to share with the parents, but
Sure.
they're for the parents and guardians as well. So what would work for them
Sure.
maybe to see with
Yes.
that. And then with the schedule, a teacher, and we had the same kind of thing with the same schedule for over 2 decades in my district, and we did just what you're talking about. We tried a bunch of schedules,
Mhm.
and then we did change our schedule.
Mhm.
I like the old one better, but.
All right, if we do it, don't tell anybody, Christina, let's just hold them.
So every schedule is something, but it did help to try it out.
Absolutely, and sometimes we're sitting at the table, yeah, we have, you know, new people, we sit at the table and we rack our brain and we go, we think we have this great idea, and it's like, we've done it before, we did it, this is why, and at some point, we need to try it, we get the feedback, and at least we know, you know? We need to move on from the times that, oh, we did that 25 years ago and it didn't work because of this. Well, times have changed, let's see what it looks like now. So, yeah, so I appreciate that feedback, though, that's great.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
I know we don't have this as a motion, but normally we do vote the school calendar, so I don't know if we need to or should be, or if it was a change
Yes,
intentionally, but it's not a motion here, but I guess I make a motion to approve the calendar as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the calendar?
I just have one suggestion, as a parent, I really enjoyed, actually when we did, the Zoom calls with the teachers, because I didn't have to drive. And I mean, it's nice to see the space where your kids are and meet the teachers face to face, but sometimes it's not possible. And it was really nice to just be able to sit where I was and
Yes,
and talk
Yes.
with the teachers. And you still get to see each other.
Yes.
Actually, I feel like maybe you see each other a little better.
yes. Thank you, yes, that's something, obviously, we want to make sure we provide access, so we've had situations where parents are reaching out saying, I'm unable to make it to for whatever reason. We always either set up a Zoom, sometimes it's just let me initiate an email to say, hey, you know, Diana's wondering how her daughter is doing, could you kindly just email her an update, and that's how the communication starts. We had a ton, when we did it virtually, we allowed people to also do it from home. Some came into the buildings, and we said, if you don't have reliable, we had lots of problems with the Zoom, and we were in the building. We had tech people here, but we can't help folks at home, and parents were calling us to say, hey, I can't. It was cumbersome. But the message too, right? Again, school to home communication is key. I remind teachers, we just had a staff meeting yesterday. At no time should we wait for parent-teacher conference schedules to reach out to a parent. It is our responsibility, our educators, we feel the need, we need to proactively reach out. Yes, we have a portal, check your kid's grade. Sometimes we need to just pick up the phone or send an email to say, can we have a conversation and discuss so-and-so and this issue that I'm having? I don't want to get away from that. But yes, I understand that we need to make it, having it virtually online, every 10 minutes someone's at the door, you have a Zoom here, that's crazy, but even allowing maybe a section of doing it virtually, but that's also in conversation as well. So thank you.
Great. Anything else? If not, we have a motion in the second to approve the school calendar. Can we put that to a vote, Julie? Okay, motion passed. School
No more
calendar?
snow days.
Fast.
Oh, no,
Thank you.
excuse me, the enrollment.
Huh? Enrollment, yes. Any questions with the enrollment report? As you know, freshmen were just placed. This is their first week in their programs, and obviously I don't have that information for you yet. We'll share it next month.
We'll do the full report we normally do in
Yeah.
March.
So, to my point that I was talking about,
Yeah.
we had 6 students withdraw this period. If I go down to the withdrawal on the totals line, it says 3 from freshman class, 0, 0, 0 from 10, 11, 12. So it's not footing, your formula's not footing down. Then the grand totals show zeros all the way across.
Okay, I see it.
Page 4?
See that?
Here. Total, 3, 0, 0, 0. 14, 10 minus 3 is not 14, it's 4.
Oh, so it didn't break down. You're right.
These formulas aren't
Okay.
footing.
And let me share
Sorry.
something no, thank you. Bill had reached out and said, hey, something's not matching up. As you guys know, Donna Schaff, who was doing our enrollment reports, decided to retire, move on from Money Tech. Congratulations to her. And we had to sort of like, hey, the template of this, where is it and who's doing it? So kudos, I know Vicki did some of the work. I know Julie did a lot of the work. So listen, cut us some slack too. I'm just kidding.
I wasn't sure if I was reading right.
No.
My concern is what we discussed at the
Yeah.
finance committee meeting today was our decline in our base of students for the new budget is, we say 23 students? And I see we lost 3 students in the 9th grade. Have we filled in any of those seats?
So typically what happens, because it's so close near in the end, we place all of our students are placed. Next week, we look at those kids to fill those slots that we have from those towns, once all the students are placed, because when we call those students, we then have to offer the programs that are open. So if a student, wanted plumbing and electrical, well, obviously there isn't a spot there, we have spots in the other programs. So that's going to happen next week, so we can get back to that 360, absolutely. Questions? All right. Fantastic. All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Personnel? Brown?
Yeah, just, two components there. Actually, you might recall that a couple months ago, Katie Heikkila, who is our groomer out at, the vet clinic, actually had left. But she decided to grass was greener back here, so she realized that we were still open, said, oh, come back, and said, come on back, because Katie does a fantastic job with the students. So she's technically coming back. Couple new, additions, cafeteria worker, Tammy Chapman, custodian, Virgil. Megan Carabo does a fantastic job currently as our program assistant in continuing education. She will be taking Donna Schaff's spot that's open because Donna retired. So Megan, actually, I think this might be a one-time shot for Julie going before Megan will probably be picking that up moving forward. And then Amanda Cintron is one of our cafeteria workers. He's actually going to move up to a vacant position. Did that retirement from Robert Lyson a few months ago.
All right. Policy,
IHAM-R, as that information is included in the main policy IHAM.
Second?
Discussion? Seeing none, call the vote, please.
For the policy committee people, there will be a meeting on the 18th. I will not be there, but Jade is going to run the meeting, so please attend the meeting. All the information will be sent out in the next few days to everybody.
I'll bring candy.
Capital improvements?
Yeah, we're trying to schedule a meeting for this month. I just need to sort of talk with committee at the very end of this meeting so we can confirm the date.
Workforce, Ms. Jackson?
For those who don't remember from Workforce, we will be meeting next Thursday here to, what was that, hopefully?
No, I said the 12th.
Oh, 12th, yeah. To start with the teachers.
Student advisory, Mr. Robert?
We met this morning. Whirlwind conversation. We'll try to summarize it. The other people that were there, they may want to chime in as well. I think we finally put the salt and pepper to bed. That you want salt and pepper, bring your own. That's the solution. A lot of discussion about focus on roaming in the highways for good or bad reasons, and that's the perception that maybe it's not being enforced consistently. That may be something to look into to see why that perception exists. It was pretty unanimous thought that what was going on. Still not any announcements, like morning announcements in veterinary science. I don't know why that, whether the lines of communication aren't there or the teachers don't want to have the students get morning announcements. Apparently there was a fire drill that was not a drill, and there was concern that the people that were at lunch were asked to pick up and get rid of their stuff from the lunchroom rather than just actually in the building. I don't know why. I always thought a fire drill, the first order of business is houses. Concerned about the library closing at 4. They're looking for possible means of being able to have it open later. But I can understand it's probably a supervision type issue. Concern about losing the late bus at 4 o'clock. We haven't gotten rid of that yet, is that correct?
We haven't permanently gotten rid of it, but again, if you remember the report that I gave everybody, as the most expensive bus because we have to use outside drivers. And if you recall, it was single digits of kids that were actually getting on that bus.
It was a discussion and, maybe brainstorming some ways as to, how to set things up. Maybe it doesn't need a full bus, maybe they need a van. But you need to have an idea of how many kids are going to show up, I guess. The students seemed aware that if 6 kids are going to be on a 45-passenger bus, that doesn't work.
What time was that, Ross?
4 o'clock or 4:15.
Oh, the 4:15 late one?
Clocks in the gym.
They don't know how to tell time.
Now, you can put battery in them.
Kids do not like to watch it.
Anywhere they want.
Never mind when the grown man. How's that mean?
Oh, that's true. That's true. You gotta set them aside and stuff. Yeah. Oh, well. But I've used that watch sometimes with other kids.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
anyway, supervision of student parking areas, just a concern about the way people drive, I guess.
We have 4 or 5 people in the senior lot every day.
Noted on the website, like three checkboxes for donations. I haven't checked on the website myself. I did see there was a spot for donations on the top, but it made a note that there's 3 on the website, and just a concern that they're very needy.
I'll check with Kate.
Yeah, I know the website's under construction. And then, well, I think that was pretty much it. Is there any, Mike, No, I think we've, did we cover it all? I think we've covered it all. It was, wow, it was a lot of. Anger. No, that wasn't anger, it was very constructive. Very constructive, I'd say so.
It's a lot of life lessons, things that we said, yeah, that's gonna happen the rest of your life. It's good that you're recognizing it.
And that was one of the issues that came up with the parking lot, John, Tom, was the way people drive.
Oh, I'll be the first one to agree with that statement, yes.
But we did say welcome to the real world, because I got caught this morning when I was coming in.
Oh, it's. You would think that it was a race to be the first one out there, that's how fast they go.
And I did emphasize the fact that everybody's a new driver.
In many cases.
Even the bus drivers.
Dr. Perini.
Oh, yes. I passed out a sheet giving a little history of where the gift program started. And it's how it went through up to 2023 when the gift program actually became a committee meeting, out of the committee. As you can see, I've also put in where we are focused now. Visibility of the school committee to the supporting communities, and gifted graduating students, thanking parents and guardians for their support for their child. I think that was very important. Again, as it states, since 2023, we gave out 12 graduation gifts, and hopefully we give out 4 or more this year. What did you say?
Apparently my computer said my Tom Brown.
Again, this is a voluntary program, but I know we had many changes in the school committee. I thought it would be interesting we have a meeting in April. We would like to be able to decide the first week in May as to how many awards are going to be allocated. Not awards, gifts, going to be allocated.
Amy, did you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to what Shelley said. So my office created the QR code. So it goes to our bank account at the school. We have a gifts and donations account that we're going to put this revenue into so that as we get towards graduation, we can cut the check so that you guys have the money for your gift. I passed around about 5 laminated cards. I can bring more that Shelley's showing. I can bring more if for the next meeting if you guys choose. I just want to get the ball going.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
Would you like to add anything, Tom?
No, it's been a fantastic addition to the awards. I think it's a great thing.
All right. Financial planning, Mr. Brooks.
Yes, sir. The financial planning committee met an hour before this meeting. All members were present, and we reviewed the preliminary FY '27 budget for the district. We did a couple of minor changes, and I understand that this presentation is beginning tomorrow night with various towns to start the budget process for this year. We do have a meeting scheduled, I believe, for February 25th with capital planning on some other topics, but at the same time, financial planning would make a final review of the budget and have a recommendation ready for the March meeting of this committee so we can vote on the budget. Thank you.
Yes.
You're starting to go to the different cities and towns to present the budget.
Yes.
When do we get to see the budget?
Next meeting, we have a public hearing.
That would be the next meeting.
So the towns will see the budget before we do? No, but I mean, even in general. Okay.
Yeah, I can email out what the couple of cover sheets too, so everybody has an idea.
I mean,
Yeah.
just the
Yeah.
summaries would be at
Yeah.
least nice, because although my town usually goes along with everything, but once in a while I'll get a call from somebody and they'll ask a question of, well, what's the percentage or what, and now I'm gonna say, oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Yes.
You got the advance.
Yeah, the reality is actually, we were supposed to be meeting the first town last week. They're asking us to be coming earlier and earlier.
And I would say, in fairness to the people working on the budget, I believe the governor's budget didn't come out for Wednesday last week.
Yes.
So there was not an ability to finalize any numbers until after the first week. So we had intended to meet last week, at which point we might have been able to do something more at this meeting, but obviously can't at this time.
That's financial statements. Henry, anything for Henry on the financial statements? Okay, nothing. How about the award of the bus transportation?
Move the recommendation.
Second.
I have to abstain.
Can we get a recommendation? Everybody knows what they're voting on.
This is whatever is in your packet. Bus transportation contract for 26-27 for a total of $2,563,380,000. $2,563,380.
Amy, you think they're fair?
Sure, this is the last year from the bid we did in 2022. So we bid for 3 years, and then we have 2 optional years, and this is that last optional year. So we'll be back out with a formal bid for next school years. And this is a 4% increase over last year, which is still very reasonable.
Any questions for Tammy? All right, hearing none.
make sure you put me down as abstained because of my conflict of interest.
You all set, Julie? Yep. Okay, teacher information, student report, few things. I guess this last week I got the night school, vibe, and, you know, it's really impressed with what we're doing. If you haven't seen the photos yet. The annual report was definitely not like this. You should take the time to read that also. And I just want to mention on the finances, Danny, when we had that hiatus over break was a good thing. I keep seeing in the newspapers, places like Boston, Brockton, Whitney, Hanson, all of a sudden they're finding they have these big deficits that they don't have a way to deal with. So a wise move.
Thank you. Very conservative.
I want to also mention again, Kelvin just mentioned the joint meeting on the 25th. If you have a chance to get there, it would be a good opportunity to learn about the finances and what's going on, also with the capital. So I say, Mr. Raymond, best wishes. I hope the restaurant is a success.
Oh.
Just having a new business.
It's going great.
If you have the opportunity, he's right on the main street in East Compton, and he has assured me that the food is good.
Oh, it's
Only if he
phenomenal.
goes back to the old name of Olson's will I go.
So, yes, sir.
Just lost my train of thought. What did you say before the restaurant? Joint committee.
His Alzheimer's keeps
And then I'm really concerned with having a quorum present, if we have too many, we need to have a full meeting posted, just to, if there's gonna be too many people there, or just, not participate in the meeting.
Yes. I'm sorry.
If you can have the joint meeting, which is gonna be X number of people, and if you invite the rest of the school committee to try to come and just sort of see, if you have a majority of the school committee, it now becomes under the open meeting laws, and you have to have posted it as an open meeting for the school committee.
My take on that is that the quorum is the quorum of the subcommittee.
Of the participation.
Yeah, if you go as a spectator,
My understanding, you're absolutely correct in that. If you're there as a spectator, it's always been my understanding, if you're there purely to observe, you're not part of the quorum, so therefore you don't have a school committee per se quorum. Even if we were all there, it doesn't matter, but I do believe you're right on that, but, I mean, it wouldn't hurt if you wanted to do it the other way, I don't care.
I would check with council on that. I think that's an open meeting violation.
It is an open meeting violation because you're gaining information that can be used to present a vote a certain way here.
And I would say, in my experience, the non-members of the finance/capital planning would be sitting in the audience and would not be able to ask questions or do anything during the meeting.
True.
So I'm gonna say if we do it until people come, they have to understand that they're not able to ask questions and they're not able to weigh in on what's going on. Even, they can't even sit there and start to moan and groan.
You're absolutely correct. That's my understanding.
Unless
Doesn't hurt to ask council, but
I mean, we could post it as, yes, sir.
I agree with Calvin, I just know that it's been brought up as an issue before when there's too many people in the room, just to be protective, just post a full meeting. We don't have to meet, it's just, that covers.
The only thing is, if there are votes taken, you post it as a meeting, it's the vote of the committee as a whole. It's not
reached out to,
Mr. Muller.
One of the problems could be if you posted it as a full meeting and didn't get a quorum.
DJ?
No, I'm the new one on the block, but I attend most Pittsburgh City Council events, and they actually just went through this like either 2 or 4 weeks ago, and it was determined that they would post it both ways. As a whole and as the joint committee, that way whichever, to your point, if you do have a quorum as a committee as a whole, that's the one that gets recorded in open meeting law, and if you don't, you run it as a joint committee. It was like a 3-hour meeting, if anybody wants to go. But it was the exact same situation, joint committee versus, and a lot of talk was if you talk at all in the audience, you're considered a participating member.
Yes, sir.
I remember reading about, seeing things about this from the Attorney General's office in Massachusetts. And it's my understanding, they already have this figured out and can guide us. I bet if we just reached out to the Attorney General's office and asked them what their position is on this, I'm sure they'll give us clear guidance, because this is nothing new in this state. Everybody keeps coming up with the same issue, and I'm sure the Attorney General's office already got it figured out.
I will guarantee you that Julie knows the exact person involved.
Excellent.
Information for you first thing in
I'm
the
sorry,
morning.
I'm sorry. I just want to get closer to you.
Absolutely.
Oh, the last thing I wanted to mention was, and I'm sure Mr. Hurley's gonna expand on, is the Super Bowl breakfast.
Yay.
This year on Sunday.
Go
morning,
Patriots.
Which is a great time and very worthy cause.
And you gotta show up in a Patriots outfit, right?
There's no sport snow. As you all know, the Patriots are once again in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And they have contacted our club, and they designated us as the official kickoff to the Super Bowl celebration.
So you flying down?
Technically, we're not even supposed to use the word Super Bowl. Big game. Yeah, big game. Big game breakfast. But it's happening up here, and Montachusett has been very helpful, very gracious in giving us donations for gifts, the raffle. We've got a lot of silent raffles, a lot of baskets, so it's much more than just a breakfast. It's 8:30 until.
What's on the menu?
What's on the menu? Well, they have a full breakfast, bacon and eggs and sausage, and they have,
Ice cream Sunday.
ice cream sundae line, you go from ice cream sundae. And culinary arts students get to test out their skills, they have a make your own omelet line. If you go through and you want bacon and mushroom, or whatever you choose. They also have, some dinner items on the menu,
There'll be a quorum.
one of them is a Yankee pot roast with gravy, which is really delicious. So they have a lot of good stuff. So come one and all, and support your community.
All right.
Money goes to good cause.
All right.
Scholarships.
Listen, it's 20 minutes a day, we have a lot of time. We'll start here, go around, anybody has anything they want to say. Now's your chance. Eric, anything you want to say? Diane?
Mark the date, I don't have anything.
Go Shelley, go quick, time.
I'm good. Good.
Christina? All set. Shelley?
We're waiting.
Oh, we're ready.
Mr. Barber, you have something?
Just the last Super Bowl lunch we came to, I think we had 2 fire drills, or fire alarms. Has that been addressed, or? I don't know what caused that.
Hopefully they're not cooking this year.
It was very disruptive to the, in and out of the building.
It was a nice day, we thought people needed spare. That's
Sure.
Deborah?
Nothing.
Yeah?
Actually, nothing.
Yay!
Welcome to our new member. Good to have you on board. Second, big thanks to the school and all the updates to the website. Very happy to have the iCalendar that I can subscribe to for meeting notifications. It's now on my phone and I can look at trademark logo that we use, that now has a bulldog in front of it, it's changed, it pops up about 100 times on the new website. I get we need a new culturally adapting, web-based logo, and maybe that is the one, but I guess I'd like for the committee or the group or the school or somehow us to make a decision on what that is and then be consistent with it, because there's just a lot of movement with it, right? So, I don't know what that, I mean, it's a formal motion or not, but maybe, Tom, that'd be something good to finalize. I mean, that TM's been around for a while, and I call it TM because I just, I'm an engineer, I read that way, top to bottom.
Yeah, so they, absolutely, the new bulldog logo kind of has been the one that we've been using.
The bulldog alone, or the bulldog on the TM, or the bulldog in front of the gear, or the
Either
bulldog in
or.
front of the gear, or the one?
I'm surprised that you see one with the gear, because the gear really, there's been a pretty.
Because I like the M with the bulldog one, that was kind of cool. That one came out like a year ago.
That's nice.
Yeah, well, like I said, like there's so many variants, and I get the feeling of the ones we like, maybe we can.
And it,
agree as a committee.
I will have Katie make sure she has a full report that you can, because she's absolutely been the one who's done.
I'm not making sure that I'm saying I don't want to decide, because you don't want me to decide. I learned a long time ago, I'm not the aesthetic person for that. Like even the logo behind you, I don't know what that thing is, right? I have no idea what that is, right? That was a whole weird thing. So,
I mean, the one you'll see more and more is, because you can see it on is the bulldog with the MT kind of thing, is the one that's up there.
I don't know if that's a student survey, if it's a population survey to our community, if it's a full group or something, but it'd be nice to say, hey, let's support it. I don't know how, but something to say, like, let's just agree. And I don't get curmudgeon anymore about changing logos.
Put something together.
And we should still have an official seal. Like, and I'm fine if that's still the old gear or whatever we have on our certificates for graduation is the original school seal or something is gear, but have a more web logo. That's all.
That was a lot to follow, so I'm good.
And I was kind of hoping for a longer meeting because I came here with my grandson who's doing the electrical course. So he's here till 8:30.
You got a ways to go.
And I told him we would have a long meeting and he would have to be sitting over there. And I was waiting for him to have to watch us meet.
I had to bring him sandwiches.
So now you all have to stay here after the meeting. Well, you're going to go over there.
Open bar will be all set. Until midnight.
Just want to say thank you, everybody, for the super warm welcome. It could have been intimidating walking in, but I get that all, so thank you. If I'm missing memos on anything, please let me know. But I'm really excited to be here. Fill those really big shoes.
I'm sure Mr. Campbell would appreciate it.
See you every Monday now.
I had a question. I thought I remember that we talked about the hockey program becoming Montachusett.
So it is.
And we budgeted the new uniforms for that.
So,
And I found out that there aren't Montachusett uniforms, that we're still playing as Fitchburg.
so Fitchburg begged, Diana knows the specifics better than I did. They begged and pleaded for one more year that they could have the logo be the Fitchburg logo, and I don't know the specifics.
Is it only 1 year?
This is,
A few years.
yeah, no.
We've been the majority team for many years.
Yeah, well, we've been the majority team for quite a long time, correct, but in terms of who was the actual host team, it's been Fitchburg. And it was supposed to switch over this year, at the last minute, there was kind of a deal between Diana and the folks over at Fitchburg High, and so next year, it should be Montachusett as the host school, and completely.
Did we budget for the new uniforms?
I'd have to follow
We
Diana.
will, in FY '27.
I thought we did in FY '25 or '26 as well.
No, but I budgeted for that ice rental. So we're happy to have Fitchburg still claim some of that.
If you want to go all the way back, Fitchburg begged us because Montachusett had a team where we only had like enough for a squad. And then Fitchburg wanted to do it. Within 2 years, they overtook everything, but we paid for the ice, which was the big
What ice
thing.
rink do they use?
And they took it over, and then it became,
ice rink?
because my stepson is
Text for what?
Androids?
Oh, that's why you made the point about
Anybody else?
Text for what?
And then one last,
Julie
one
has
last,
a
sorry, the
cell
warrant
phone
tonight, I
for,
saw
and we have a group chat.
there was
for the
a
school
Home
committee.
Depot invoice that got partially paid by an anonymous donation, S&M-ET.
Yep,
That's been down to the donation that we previously accepted?
yes, it was from the anonymous donation that funded the redo in engineering tech.
Oh, that's what ET is.
Yes.
Thank you. That's it.
All right, next week. All right. Yes, sir, Mr. Bob.
You had your chance.
I just have to bring up the calendar and I see that next Tuesday is Wednesday, maybe, Program Advisory Committee meeting on the 11th. Oh, the calendar starts on Monday. Wow, okay. Next Wednesday is the Program Advisory Committee meeting. I was been told not to come to that, but do we need to sign up for that, or?
The dinner?
Dinner?
The dinner?
Program Advisory Dinner, see all of our business partners.
Usually if you wanna come, you come, I think. Usually we get a survey, but no matter.
Usually get a survey?
Yeah, survey means, do you wanna come?
Are you
or not?
coming? Yeah.
Oh,
That's a survey.
I haven't been a part of that. Usually comes out of the other office.
I'm not in charge of getting the RSVP, so
I think that secretary retired, who sends it. Oh, the secretary who sends it retired.
somebody just said Julie. That's not Julie?
No, it wasn't you.
It probably comes from Karen Hebert,
Yeah.
vocational
Oh, okay.
secretary.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's another quorum, bro.
Yeah.